Good day everyone, my name is Lord G.V. Santiana. So now I will going to report the Anti-Child Abuse Law. Refers to a person below 18 years old or a person over 18 years old but is unable to fully take care of or protect himself or herself because of physical or mental disability or conditions. So what we're talking about here is about the abuses to a child or to a children. The Anti-Child Abuse Law, based on my observations and based on the stated statement, the Anti-Child Abuse Law is the law that protecting or the protections against the abuses people. Also stated here that are 18 years old, below and over 18 years old who has need special attention or has the observed disorder must have the focus of this law. One of the purpose of it is to take care of the child's health, either it's mental, physical, and spiritual. It also aims to prevent the violence and somehow crimes. So now we're going to the child prostitutions. The child engaged in prostitutions are considered as a victims. So the first questions in my mind, or I'm asking you why it's considered as a victims. So this is my answer, that because it don't have enough knowledge and strength. So why knowledge? Because if the child know that it's kind of abuses and it's a wrong activity, they will not do that because knowledge is probably enough to prevent engage sometimes. Because another thing that we will see why children are forced to do is because of the poverty. They forced to do that except the ignorance of behavior. The ignorance behavior of the child don't have enough strength to fight their rights, and because they're understanding that they are still a child or no have rights to complain. Those punished are the one who abuse the child, and prostitutions or derive profit from it. Yes, of course, because they consider as abuses. They are facing many consequences and punishment. There are no ones to be punished aside from them. But also for me, based on my perspective and opinion, other related person other related persons who know the situations and they choose to shut up and don't take an actions to surrender the agencies, and the agencies that don't have or don't do actions to respond.
Good day, sir. I'm Eda Kaabay, and today I'm going to report what is child trafficking. Child trafficking is about the taking children out there of their protective environment and preying on their vulnerability for the purpose of exploitation. Child trafficking, it is a recruiting girls and boys from village and rural areas by baiting them with the promise of fast and easy cash. They are then sold for sex in pubs, karaoke bars, nightclubs, on the street, or through social media. Child trafficking, where is the child was forced or pursued to leave their homes and are moved to transport and exploit, forced to work or sold. What are the causes of child trafficking? So one of the reason of child trafficking is lack of access of education and job opportunities, violence and harmful social norms like child marriage, but poverty is the main causes of child trafficking. Many people are also poor, that's why most of mothers are forced to sell their children because of poverty, and that's why teenage pregnancy is increasing. So, according to Republic Act number 9208, known as Anti-Trafficking is Person Act of 2003, institute the policy to eliminate trafficking in person, especially women and children. It established the necessary institutional mechanism to protect and support person and provide penalties for violation. Then, next kong i-report po is child pornography. According to Republic Act No. 9775, Section 2, Act of Child Pornography Declaration of Policy, they state, recognize the vital role of the youth and nation building and shall promote and protect their physical, moral, spiritual, and intellectual, emotional, psychological, and social well-being. So, our modern world has a lot of new and exciting technologies for us and our families. Unfortunately, not all of these innovations are to our benefit. Selfies, for example, while a great form of self-expression, are usually taken with smartphone and can be shared to dangerous application or untrustworthy people. Kids and teens love to take selfies, and though most of those pictures are innocent, your child may be peer pressured or bullied into taking selfies that includes nudity or other sexual explicit material. So, how do we keep our children to pornography? So, protect our child from sexual explicit content is critical to keeping them safe as they grow and develop. This include protecting our child from exposed to participating in and sharing child pornography, and also protect minors from the production of child pornography. If anyone attempts to pursue or force a minor to engage in sexual acts to make a video, picture, or other image is guilty of sexual exploitation. When we look at the impacts of child pornography on children, we are looking the impact of sexual abuse. There are short-term and long-term effects like change of eating habits, avoiding physical contact with others, and mood and personal changes, depression with other, both internal and external changes in the behavior or mental health of the child who has been forced to participate in child pornography. To avoid child pornography, we must teach our children to educate them about the child pornography and such a limiting internet access or teaching responsibility online habits. We also need to keep safe from themselves, and that's all.
Good morning, sir. I'm Rosemary Santiana, and I'm going to continue discuss our topic about children's law. So the content of my discussion are Presidential Decree of 603, which is the Code of Children or Youth, Republic Act 11188, the Special Protections of Children Institutions of Armed Conflict Act, and Republic Act 8370, Children's Television Act of 1997. So, I'm going to discuss first about Presidential Decree of 603, which is the Code of Children or Youth. So, this code shall apply to those below 20 years old. Those minors, child or youth are contains of this code. So this code contains those rights of every children. So we all know that every children endowed with dignity and worth of human well-being. that apply of moments of their conception. So every children has the right to wholesome their family life that will give them love, care, protection, guidance, counseling, understanding, moral and material security. So those are the rights, and this is the code of youth. So remember that code of the youth and children. So next is the Republic Act 11188, Special Protections of Children in Situation of Armed Conflict. So the new law declares children as zone of peace, aim from all forms of abuse and violence, and prosecute persons or groups violating the measures. So this act or this law is a law of providing strong deterrence and give special protection to those children that give protection against child abuse, exploitation and discrimination. So this act can give or can provide penalties or give penalties for every violations. So I'll give you some examples. So in every emergency situation, the government shall provide a rules and regulations. So like for example in disaster, so the government should give rules and regulations like activities prior to armed conflict, which is the rules of social worker, or in this rule the rules of social worker is to create or to provide master list of all families in the affected areas and conduct a disaster preparedness or orientation meeting with what we call this, they can provide orientation meeting by cooperations with the government and non-government organization. So another example or another activities or rules is that evacuation priority. So evacuation priority in or those children's or in like for example those were affected of disaster, so they can help those children first. Their priority is those children, so they can help those children to evacuate, and those children they can give them they should give first assistance. So in this rule, children is the most priority at all. So next is Republic Act 8370, which is Children's Television Act of 1997. So this act can promote and encourage the productions and broadcasting of development appropriate television programs for children through the administrations of National Endowment of Children's Television. So in this act or law, so those social workers must take steps by providing television program that reflect to the needs of children and concerns, reflect their needs and concerns, or also it recognize the importance and impact of broadcast media. So particularly in television program on the value formation and intellectual development of those children. So that's all, and thank you.
I am Jessica Hurada, and now I will going to discuss to all of you the Act number 1670. This act can provide a place and offering a shelter for poor children to remain their safety and security instead of being removed. These acts were enacted on July 8, 1907. It shall be the duty of any person who shall be take any poor child from an asylum or institution as right as suitable to maintain, cared for, and to educate such child while in custody. The example of these are the street children and homeless. In the Philippines, 25% to 30% of the street children make their home on the street, and they often create a sort of family with their fellow children. While children end up on the street, since as you can see, many children within encountered a problem. As they run away from their home as refugees, they frequently end up on the street, since they are really hopeless to return their home. Because of due to dysfunctional families, poverty, neglect, low of education, parent divorce, and abandoned by their own parents or relatives not being cared. And also they have a reason to escape, like for example, slap, punch, or beaten up in the family, and escape from human traffickers who would sell them to pedophiles to be a sexual abuse or rape. As you've been seen, children is the most vulnerable individual in this world. They must be the one priority to take care, and by this act is the responsible to do so. Now we are going to the next.
Good morning, sir. I'm Marjorie Toranines, BSSW, Bachelor of Science in Social Work. Now, let's talk about Republic Act 6972. What does it mean by Republic Act 6972? This is the services that launches a program for children's minors underage when they make a program such as feeding program and so on. It is the services that provides protection to our children, and it is not the only one that held by the Republic Act 6972, because there are many others. When we say daycare, what immediately comes to your mind? Of course, based on my understanding, it is a processes that begins to be trained the children's where they are taught to read, write, count, and do things. And the daycare center help us a lot because it is a type of method where we are trained to test our knowledge and or thinking in the field of learning. It will give us good knowledge that we can use in the next columns of our life as a student, because you can use it in our next generation in our life. Would we say Republic Act 9288, it is the policy of the state to protect and promote the right to health of the people, and including the right of children, survival and full and healthy development as individuals. So this is the state how they will protect the life of each child or each. This is the processes where they ensure the health of the child, just like having a program where they bring the children to be vaccinated against diseases we are facing now. This is a system that takes care of the health of the children.
Good morning everyone. The discussion that I will report is Republic Act number 10627, Anti-Bullying Act of 2013. According to Section 2, for purpose of this act, bullying shall refer to any severe or repeat use by one or more student of a written, verbal, or electronic expression, or a physical act or gesture or any combination thereof direct to another student that has the effect of actually causing or placing the latter is reasonable fear of physical or emotional harm or damage to his property, creating a hostile environment at the school for other students, infringing on the rights of the student at school, or materially and substantially disrupting the education process or the orderly operation of a school. Anti-Bullying Act of 2013 was enacted to protect students from bullying and other form of violence they may be inflicted upon them. The aim of the anti-bullying policy is to ensure that pupils learn in a supportive, caring, and a safe environment without fear of being bullied. Bullying is antisocial behavior and affects everyone. A focus on preventing bullying is important to promoting positive action such as kindness, acceptance, and inclusion. In some cases, bullying can lead to devastating consequences such as shooting and suicide. That's all, and thank you.